Welcome back to At the Van Wezel. I'm Mary Bensel, the Executive Director of the Hall, and I am here without my famous cohort, Julia Mays, who is under the weather today, but I'm really thrilled to have Robert Warren joining us. Robert is our Director of Education and Community Engagement. What does that mean, community engagement?
It means that I'm the most engaging individual in the community. No, it means that we help bring in programs for the rest of the community instead of just students, seniors, veterans, special needs audience, everything.
And you've done an incredible job since you've been here. You had record numbers, school time performances last year, and then the coup of bringing Any Given Child to Sarasota. So I think you'd be very proud of the good job you've done.
Very exciting, yes.
Yeah. And Robert also is, Robert is special. He's an actor, a director. You're a veteran yourself, so it's really great that we've started a new veterans program at the Van Wezel.
All in one package.
There you go. But anyway, Robert's here with me today to talk about our new season, which I think is the most exciting part of any year for us, because we're always thrilled to bring new shows to the Hall. And but before we get into the shows, we did get a special accolade recently.
We did?
Yeah.
Was it something really, really big?
Something really, really big. I think we have the magazine right here so I can show you, and if I've got this marked appropriately. But we were named the #1 performing arts hall in North America, not just in the States, but in North America. They ranked the top 20 halls. And we were #1, and it's based on your concert attendance and your box office grosses. And we were also named the #4 performing arts hall in the category of 5,000 seats. And of course, we only have 1,741. So for us to do that, we're right up there with the Straz Center and Ruth Eckerd Hall and the Broward Center. And then we come in as 4, and then Orlando is 5. And what's interesting, I think, is beyond the fact we have less seats, we have a much smaller audience base.
So are you more proud of being #4 with the big dogs?
Yeah, I think well, #1 is always the best, but I think it's really something special, and it shows that Sarasota audiences, really support the arts, whether it's the opera, the ballet.
It's true.
And the nice thing here at the Van Wezel is we have diversity. And maybe you can tell us about some of the really exciting shows we have to start with this year.
Well, starting off with a biggie, John Legend, which is huge. I mean, talk about a season opener.
Oh, he is so handsome. Well, I'm sure you don't feel quite the same.
No, he's got that TV show.
Yeah, the duets.
Yeah, he's all over the map now, and very, very excited to have him coming in.
He won 10 Grammy Awards, and I don't even know how to categorize him because he's edgy, he's current, but he also has that smooth quality of a young Johnny Mathis or a Michael Bublé.
A real crossover appeal.
Absolutely, and he plays the piano beautifully. And then the other thing people may not know is he's a great philanthropist, and he wants to help people, and some of the ticket price goes to charity. And so I'm so excited that we have a younger demographic opening the season. I believe it's October the 19th, a Friday night, and you've got to get tickets because this is going to be an electrifying concert. And then we have a megastar, right?
We do. We do. Sheryl Crow. Yes, first time ever in the Van Wezel. Has she been to Florida at all?
Well, she did, actually, because I opened a tour of hers about 7 or 8 years ago in Fort Myers. And I can tell you, Sheryl is, you see her on stage and you think, wow, what a huge personality, but she's tiny. She's very small. She travels with her dogs. I think she just adopted a child. She's a humanitarian. And then what record hits? Yeah. And that's going to be our gala.
And another great philanthropist, too. She gives so much back to the arts community.
And she's had a tough time in her life. She beat breast cancer, and then, recently came the news that she had some sort of tumor, but that it's non-malignant, and she's performing all out. And she's going to be the guest at the Van Wezel Foundation Gala. And that gala really does a lot for your education programs.
Does a lot. Helps underwrite a huge portion of those programs that are free for the students.
And the busing that's free and the whole 9 yards. And then we have the Queen coming, Queen Latifah.
Yes.
She was nominated for an Oscar for Chicago. She has been a Grammy winner. She hosts, all sorts of award shows. But people say Queen Latifah is, and she has the most gorgeous voice, and she will be singing, but I can't imagine we won't be seeing some of the Queen's inimitable humor.
Everybody remembers her from something different. Some know the humor, some know the Broadway. A lot of people remember her from Living Single, the hit TV
Oh gosh,
show.
yes.
Yeah,
And
many
so
years.
that's going to be a great show. It was down at the Naples Philharmonic a couple of years ago, and they said it was a spectacular show. And so we have some fabulous stars coming, but I think we should mention the ones that are starting out the season. And on November 1st, after John Legend, we have Celtic Thunder, and they were here last year, totally sold out, and this is their new concert tour, Voyage. And I think they're a real favorite on PBS.
Huge, huge hit.
Tell us a little bit about Glen Campbell and his tour.
I think that that's such a nostalgic show, that the whole premise with his daughter being there on stage to help him out, that the first reports were that this might be a bit of a train wreck, but it's really became the sentimental favorite for people that love Glen and country music.
And for anybody that doesn't know, Glen, of course, was famously announced that he is affected with Alzheimer's right now. And for someone, my mother died of Alzheimer's, so I know how it touches everybody. But he is doing this concert tour with dignity. He's winning rave reviews everywhere. This will be the last time you get to see one of the greatest country stars. Rhinestone Cowboy, so many hits that Glen Campbell had.
And he's a catalyst now for the cause, which is great. And what a legacy to leave behind.
Oh my gosh. And so this is a concert that I'm so excited the Van Wezel has taken upon itself to bring. And then we have something for the election coming up. And you used to work in Washington.
Capital steps. Talk about, food for the grist mill.
Oh my goodness.
In a political year, it's going to be hysterical.
There is so much fodder for them right now, because every day some political person makes, a gaffe and it suddenly becomes big news, and they leave no one untouched.
Yeah, foot and mouth disease.
Yes, they do. They do. And they were all original staffers on the Hill, and they're really, really funny. And then, of course, we have already announced our Broadway season, which is highlighted, folks, by the biggest show of the year, Les Miserables. It will be here for a week. There's a huge movie coming out. We also have Peter Pan with Kathy Rigby and Traces, and just on and on. The orchestras, the Philadelphia Orchestra, one of the biggest in the country, the Boston Pops. But tell me a little bit, because we don't have a lot of time, but tell me about some of our holiday hits, Robert.
We've got Winona Judd is doing a holiday tour. We have Dave Koz coming back for a holiday tour. And we have Mannheim Steamroller, which I heard will be here rehearsing their holiday show in-house and bringing in lots of extra attention to the city prior to the national tour.
Both Dave Koz and Mannheim have decided to open their tours in Sarasota, so that you're absolutely right. It means better economic growth for everybody, because our employees get to work more, they stay in hotels longer, eat here, and they're here because they love the Van Wezel, and quite frankly, who wouldn't love playing on Sarasota Bay?
And those of us in the business, that sort of behind-the-scene rehearsal time
it's
is
so cool.
really, really cool.
It really is.
Yeah.
And then other people we have coming for the holidays is we have Michael Bolton coming, the King of Swing holiday show, the Oak Ridge Boys, of course, Salute to Vienna, which comes every year. That rocking New Year's Eve party on New Year's Eve that Madison's threw last year.
Oh, yes.
500 people were here, fireworks and everything, and that was so special. And I think there is a Christmas show for everybody this year. And we also have, of course, we have two nutcrackers. Not one, but two. We have, of course, the Great Russian Nutcracker, but the real excitement, I think, is in the Sarasota Ballet is coming back to the Van Wezel, and they're doing a new production of the Nutcracker that is based on Sarasota. Clara runs away to the Ringling, to the circus.
The Cottazon theme.
Yes, and I think we'll have them here to talk about that when we get closer to that event. And of course, it's not Christmas without a Christmas carol. So how can tickets go on sale? Single tickets go on sale September 8th. And how does somebody get a ticket?
They call the box office, 953-3368, or they can show up in person, pick their seats themselves, and order online.
Absolutely. And you can order online that day. And folks, something new this year, we have an appointment. If you want to call the box office now and make an appointment for the first day of ticket sales, you won't have to wait in line. But if you are here and you are waiting in line, we have free breakfast, and then later we're going to be grilling lunch that you can buy. We'll have drinks available, and we always have a great time. And so I really want to suggest come to the box office, have a great time. If you want to, make an appointment, or, like I do, you know, go online in your jammies and
the concierge service is wonderful.
that is really fabulous, and we will all be here then. But we will be back in just a minute with one of our fabulous sponsors this year. They're sponsoring Winona, and that is Beneva Flowers. So we'll be right back in a minute. And welcome back to At the Van Wezel. As I mentioned, I'm Mary Bensel, the director of the Van Wezel, and we have one of our most favorite sponsors here, Art Conforti of Beneva Flowers, who does the most beautiful work. My day is always brightened when I get one of your products. When the door opens and there's a flower, it just brightens my whole day.
Thank you. Thank you. It's nice to hear that.
How long have you been here in Sarasota?
Well, I've been here since 1986, and Beneva Flowers are celebrating our 26th year.
Wow, that's fabulous. So you have really made a difference in the community.
It's been exciting, you know, starting with SCAT, driving a bus, working with the community, and also selling hot dogs downtown on Main Street. It's just been a wide variety of different things I've done. I've really enjoyed it. I found Sarasota really become home relatively quickly.
Well, that's great. And I must say that you not only have a floral business, but you have started something with social media. You also have a marketing concept. Can you tell me a little bit about those two initiatives?
No, Mary, I found that many people don't think about flowers, ordering flowers till they need them. And
Sure.
to be top of mind awareness, how can we stay out in front of people? So we try to interact more, get involved with the schools and the churches and any kind of education forums. But more importantly, to just be able to show a unique product that people can look and say, my goodness, that really caught my attention. And little touches can make that happen. So by bringing more attention and interest to our industry keeps us top of mind. So in the future, when you need something, you know you have your local florist to call.
Yeah, and I always think of Beneva Flowers because you do very unusual arrangements, and you know, it's often that we need something for a star's dressing room or to make it, you know, a flower arrangement just brightens up a room.
It doesn't, and many times they used to say the old saying, say it with flowers.
Yep.
It's such a great way to convey your message because once a message has been conveyed, you get to enjoy this beautiful bouquet for a week to 10 days later.
And that's the nice thing. You have developed a product that I hear other people in the industry are using. Can you tell us about that?
It's called Floral App. I found a couple of years ago my daughter, and everyone kept coming around me with these smartphones. And I said, you know, I'm happy with my BlackBerry. I really don't need to be playing with another gadget.
Yeah, I hear you.
Boy, I mean, go through a mall today. Who's looking up anymore?
I know.
Everyone's glued to this mechanism. Well, it's more than a phone today. It's a computer.
Yep.
And after doing some research and seeing just how many people are moving from desktops to laptops, now they're doing it all on iPads and smartphones, I thought this is an opportunity here. Well, after doing some research, I found it to be very expensive to develop an app. Because the technology that you're using is your cell phone. It's not like a computer where you're using HTML coding and so forth, and you're using the PC software and the language.
I can barely turn mine on.
Well, that's it. I mean, you know, you're developing for Mac, you have different operating systems. This is the smartphone. So we're working with push notification. We're dealing with conflicts when people send a text message or get a picture and they're on your site shopping. It's a whole different way of development, and we've come up with a way to not only create this for us, but also offer it to the rest of the industry.
How do people download this app?
It's simple. They just place an order on our website, and we send them a link. Thank you for placing your order with us. Download our app and save in the future. They can go to our website. They can go to the iTunes store, the Google Play Store. There's so many different ways. Basically, they click a link, it shows up on their phone, they register, and Mary, you don't have to say anything. You don't have to do anything again.
See, and that's perfect for me. and I think that's something that is great because you developed this here in Sarasota, and people outside are using this.
We did, and florists,
they're
able to custom label it for their shops. So when they get their version of Floral App, they have their own what's called a keyword. Once a customer types that flower shop's name in, that shop is now forever on their phone. Now all they have to, like I was saying before, all you have to do is click. They already know your name because you registered once. You just click the item you'd like to send, the card message, how you'd like to pay for it, and you're done.
And here, I think it is so important that we support our local businesses. And Beneva Flowers has been great to the community. We've used your flowers. They've been wonderful to us. And, you know, I just remember Shirley McLean someone had a bouquet delivered from your store, and she was like, it just made my night. And so it was really very cool. But nice. You know, I'm probably going to embarrass you, but I was reading your bio. You have been labeled as a major philanthropist in the community. You won #1 boss, #1 florist, on and on. How have you been able to be this successful?
Well, you know, it's an honor when your staff nominates you for something like that, because we're working together many, many hours. In many cases, we spend more time with each other than we do with our own families. So I look at our business like one big family, and I try to keep it fun and exciting, but I also let my employees take ownership. So when I see a beautiful design like this, I wish I could make something that pretty. I was a designer when we started, and I'm going to say average at best. My designers are so far ahead of them. I'm proud of them. I'm proud of my sales team, my designers, and my drivers.
Do you grow your own flowers?
We don't. We bring them all in, but we do actually bring them in from the farms. We bring them in from Holland. We import them from Ecuador. So, and we look at everyone that's doing business the right way, making sure the companies are green. And it's important to us that they're treating their employees as we do ours.
That is important, isn't it?
It's important. I mean, it's a part of the big picture. So giving back and getting, the awards are nice, but when it's all said and done, you just want to know that you're making a difference every day you come to work.
And you also started to say your drivers, so everybody in the company is a family member for you as far as
they are, and they all wear the Beneva shirt, and I love hearing them tell me how proud they are when they leave work and they're stopped at a Publix and somebody says, do you work at Beneva? I got a beautiful bouquet, this and that. It's by design. We're not going to let a customer call us with a problem, which we all have, but how we handle it, I think, is the difference between Beneva Flowers and other companies. Our goal is to make sure you're happy.
That is very important. And before I let you go, just tell us quickly, what are the big flower days of the year? What are the most important things to people for them to say it?
Let me give you that back and ask you what you think it would be.
Well, I assume it's Valentine's Day and Mother's Day.
Most people say that, but you'd be surprised to find that Mother's Day, the 10 days of Mother's Day, the first 10 days of May, are generally the same as the whole month of December. Yet Valentine's is the single busiest one day of the year.
So people send flowers at the holiday season at Christmas and Hanukkah?
Christmas is taken out through 4 weeks. There's a lot of shopping. There's gifts, there's parties, there's thank yous, and then you get into Mother's Day, you have that first 10 days, and that's a lot of volume, but it's all jammed into those first 10 days. And then you have Valentine's Day, of course, everybody wants it the day of.
The day of.
And it's so important to handle that properly because you don't want to be late on Valentine's Day.
No, you could ruin somebody's whole romantic life. So this is the man. If you don't get your flowers, you call Art, you know.
Mary, there's 2 kinds of services I believe are never forgotten, exceptional and horrible. And Valentine's Day is not the time to be testing one side or the other.
No.
Let's do it right.
There you go. And so I want to mention that Beneva Flowers is sponsoring our fabulous Rocking Winona Christmas event.
I can hardly wait.
We can't wait to have you back to meet Miss Winona Judd. And we will be back with you in just a minute to talk about the rest of the season.
Did you know City of Sarasota drinking water is very safe? Tested every 2 hours. Delivered right to your house. Much more affordable than bottled water. Environmentally friendly. And it tastes good. City of Sarasota water. Safe, affordable, environmentally friendly.
And welcome back to At the Van Wezel. And now, Robert, there should be no problem for you to know where to send me flowers, you know?
Absolutely, Beneva.
No, he was just a charming guy, and it's no wonder that he was voted #1 boss. And whenever one of our stars gets a bouquet, it means a lot to them, you know? So I'm glad he's with us. We have a fantastic rest of the season. One of the great shows, which I think is for the entire family, and I just happened to see his show on television, is Jack Hanna and his Into the Wild. Did you watch that?
Jungle Jack, yes. Yes. And he's a Florida native.
Is he really?
Yes.
I know he lives up in Tampa area. Yeah. But, you know, who will ever forget him with, you know, on David Letterman, and Johnny Carson used to.
The old Johnny Carson episodes with the wildest animals
I know,
ever.
and why they always end up sitting on somebody's head, you know, and.
Sitting?
Well,
oh, yes. Yes.
Sitting, pooping, you
Yes.
know. Well, you never know with an animal.
That's
So
right.
that's a great show at the holidays to bring the family, and I really think it'll be a lot of fun. And
Maybe
then
he could work with Tinky for a little while.
Tinky Bell is my doggie, my Yorkie, who has just had surgery and who has never met another animal she doesn't like. I really wanted to book Cesar, the dog whisperer, just for my own benefit, but I had to hold back because it was such an expensive show, but maybe I could. He might think she's a wild animal, though, you know. But anyway, we also have another great family show, Adam Trent. And we've had a history of bringing in cutting-edge new magicians.
Young, exciting tricks that you can't even imagine. He's wonderful.
And I know with your education programs, Mike Super and some of the other magicians we brought in really worked great with the kids, and I think opened up a whole new horizon for people.
Yeah, there's something about that age group that just really gets engaged by the magician, and they're so wonderful
Absolutely.
to talk with them before and after.
And they're really personable, and you know, I spent a lot of years working with David Copperfield, and a magician really has to be an inventor as well as, you know, some sort of mathematician, and everything has to work,
Yeah.
and so you know, we have some really exciting shows for kids, but not to forget people in different age groups. Here's a group from my era, the Fifth Dimension, and Marilyn McCoo and Billy Davis, and they sang so many great hits, and that's a great show.
They're amazing.
They really are, and it's upbeat and fun. And then we have one of the classiest ladies that's been at the Van Wezel, Natalie Cole.
Love Natalie.
Oh my gosh, and she is so thin. And as I recall, you saw her recently live, didn't you?
Yes, yes, I did. And in fact, we had her backstage and just was a trooper. She had a terrible cold that day, and she went on, and people were amazed at how spectacular
Didn't
her
you
concert
also see
was.
her in D.C. around the 4th of July?
Yes. Yeah.
And because she was on for that special
For that very short performance before the storm clouds hit. Yes.
But Natalie has had many, many hits, and she has performed here, and she is one of the great ladies, and she'll be singing all of her hits. And then we have a doo-wop show. We have the Brooklyn Bridge and all sorts of different groups coming, and this is always one of our audience's real favorites.
Yeah, that's a real sort of almost cult-like following for those doo-wop shows. They travel all over and come to Sarasota to see
It is,
them.
and these guys look great and sound great. And then I think we have one of my favorite performers of all time coming, Vince Gill.
Yeah.
And Vince has been here a number of times, and I have never seen someone quite so nice. He must have met 50 people one day in a meet and greet, and there was a young man that had written a song, and he asked Vince to listen to it, and I thought, oh dear. And Vince listened to the whole thing and critiqued it and gave this young guy encouragement. And the other thing Vince can do is he can spin a tale.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So it's not just music.
Last time he was here, he said he made a lot of money by singing like a girl.
There you go.
Yes. But they have family connection too. Amy Grant, his wife.
Yep, they were
grew up
here.
Summers here, and their daughter goes to New College.
So that's really great. So we're glad to have Vince Gill here. And then one of our favorite Broadway concerts is Neil Berg's, and we're running out of years. I think it's the 105th year of Broadway, and it always sells out. Neil's parents live here in Sarasota, and so it's a special show where you get a chance to hear some of the greatest hits of Broadway through a century, plus 5 years right now. And then a new show that's coming, John Lithgow.
Never been before. He's
Nope.
hysterical. I think it's going to be a big hit.
And he is really tall, folks. I met him in New York City. He came into a party, and he came down this staircase, and nobody else seemed to notice. And I ran up, and I was like, oh, I'd so love to have you come to the Van Wezel. And he said, well, you make a point of it. But he has a show, Stories from the Heart, and he tells a tale like no one else. And this guy has been nominated for the Oscar. He's won the Emmy. He's done it all on Broadway.
30 Rock.
30 Rock, exactly. Yeah. And so he's starred in a lot of Broadway shows. And then, you know, we can't go without having some of our favorites. Frankie, Valli, and the Four Seasons are back. And it's an interesting season because we're having both the Midtown Men, who were the 4 original guys on Broadway who did Jersey Boys.
That's right.
And they sing a lot of the Four Seasons songs, but they also sing other 60s hits. But then we have the original Jersey Boy. We have the man, Frankie Valli. And what a story he had. Now, you know I'm a Jersey girl.
I know you're a Jersey girl.
So
Jersey Shore?
that's, you know, the sad thing is I grew up where we went to the beach in Seaside Heights, where it's exactly where Snooki and her bunch hang out. And I swear to you folks, I never saw a gang like that in my life. I never did. But obviously they're there. And I had never seen the show until I went with my family to Hawaii, and the teenagers were not old enough to go to clubs yet. So we saw every episode, and it did make me a little embarrassed of being a Jersey girl. But the Four Seasons will be singing some incredible songs, and it is an evening like you'll never forget. And then there's a show called Just Imagine. Now, who could that be about?
Let me think. Perhaps the Beatles?
Yes, perhaps John Lennon. And this is a show specifically dedicated to John Lennon's life, and it's what if John Lennon could come back and give one more concert. And I think it's so special. I remember when I was in Amsterdam, I had a chance to go to the hotel where he and Yoko staged that very famous, you know, Sleep In. And John Lennon was one of the greatest musical giants, I think, of all time. And we get to have a double dose of the Beatles this year because we have Rain. And that show's been here, I think, 3 times, and you can never get a seat.
Never get a seat.
And they do an incredible job. You and I saw it on Broadway, didn't we?
Yes. It's amazing. It's amazing how it transports you back in time, and then they make it so current with showing you as an audience member on stage with the Beatles.
There you go.
Brilliant.
Yeah, we had the best time.
Yep.
We were in New York on Broadway and seeing Rain. And so now you can see it here at the Van Wezel. And then talking about other groups, the Beach Boys 50th anniversary tour.
Yes.
And they're going to be right here at Van Wezel. And this is, I guess these are one of my favorite groups. I actually saw the Beach Boys perform at the Bicentennial in Philadelphia in front of the Art Museum with the fireworks going off. And you don't get much more American than the Beach Boys.
No, I remember the tribute to the Beach Boys at the Kennedy Center, and they dropped beach balls from the ceiling of the Opera House, and you had all these senators and diplomats up on their feet. But it just brings you back to that fun,
doesn't it?
Beach nostalgia memory as a kid. It's wonderful.
And life was better and carefree, and you feel like a kid. And if you come to the concert, folks, you'll see young kids, and you will see grandmothers, and
gas was 17 cents a gallon.
Oh my gosh. Yes. And of course, they're still really great guys. Mike Love is so sweet, so we're really happy. And then to switch gears, we have another oldie group. It's a tribute. It's the Rat Pack, and Sandy Hackett, whose father was Buddy Hackett, has done this show, and you get to see all of your favorites.
And you know, that style's coming back. Michael Bublé is making a fortune off of Rat Pack music, and that
Frank
whole
Sinatra,
style.
Dean Martin.
Just amazing.
And then we have Sleeping Beauty and a Russian ballet, which is always spectacular. Howie Mandel, and I mean, Howie Mandel is everywhere.
He's everywhere.
He's everywhere. I saw him just last night on
America's Got Talent.
Yep. Yeah. You know, arguing with Howard Stern, and then of course he did that fabulous show, Deal or No Deal, and so Howie's going to be here. And then we have the Temps and the Four Tops, and then the pipes and drums of the First Watch, and then the Voca People. Have you seen the Voca People?
We saw it together in New York.
My goodness.
We saw the preview. Yes.
It was you and I and some more of our staff and a whole bunch of kids. That didn't the audience go wild for that show?
Yeah, I was amazed that I thought, perhaps not my cup of tea, but the audience was on their feet.
Oh my gosh.
They just absolutely went crazy.
And how do you describe the Voca People?
Blue Man Group in white.
Yeah, they're in white. They do a cappella music. They're from Israel. It's just a sensation. Go on YouTube and you will see them because they have millions of hits. And then we have one more Queen coming. This is a different Queen. We have the famous English rock group Queen, which of course is a tribute band. You might have seen the tribute on the Olympics. So anyway, all of these shows are available at the Van Wezel. Come to the box office, call
953-3368.
And that's on September 8th. And then after there, you can get them. Our brochure will be out in the mail. You'll be able to download the brochure on our website. You can order tickets that way. If you get 4 or more of the variety shows, you get a discount. We have all sorts of after programs where we have family things where a kid can get a ticket for free. So check us out. Look at our website. And you should know we will be back throughout the year to be bringing you more shows here at the Van Wezel.